I'm not doing very well today, and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try really, really hard not to cry. Um, but I've been feeling a lot of anxiety over the past couple of days, and a lot of it has to do with sort of the Celia, thank you for the Super. A lot of it has to do with the fallout of of everything that's been going on in the past week. I think I think I did. I think I hold on. I have to turn the music off. I don't want to I don't want to seem like I'm being I don't know, manipulative or anything, but it's difficult to sort of begin with what I want to say, because I know that we are surrounded by controversy at the moment. And Long Xiao Chen, thank you for the Aka Super, thank you so much. We're surrounded by a lot of watchful eyes at the moment, but I think it's in those moments that there's a part of me that needs to stick up for myself and stick up for you guys. Myanmar, thank you for the Aka Super as well. So for those of you who didn't see, although I imagine everyone here probably has, a few days ago I set a few boundaries up, and I sort of tried to remind you of the distance between you and I through a screen, and the fact that, well, you all know what I said. And I have to stand by what I said, because some kindred were taking the connection between us and they were taking it much too far, and they were using it to hurt people, and I never want that to happen. But I think the part that's hurting me more than anything else is the fact that ever since then I've noticed that something's felt very different. And I can't really describe what it is, but Bamboo, thank you very much. Something that we've had has felt very different ever since then. Sorry, I'm just trying really hard to get my words out without crying, but it's very difficult. Sorry. Michiko, thank you for the Aka Super. Thank you so much. Angelina, thank you. I might turn supers off real quick. Actually, I'll remember to turn them back on when we actually stream, but it doesn't feel right at the moment. Sorry. I'm just going to quickly turn those off. I really appreciate it, by the way, guys. I just need to be able to say this, okay? So over the past few days, I know I've been sort of getting this strange feeling. Shuto, thank you very much. I've been getting this strange feeling that there's something missing. Something that we used to have that I feel like was a part of why we had so much success, and was a part of why these streams felt like so much more than just entertainment, you know? On that stream where I kind of laid out my boundaries, I said that I was just an entertainer, and I think that that you were quote unquote just fans, and that line has been sticking in my head so much, because I think that I said a lot of things that I really needed to, and I still stand by the majority of it. I have to stand by the majority of it. Don't be fooled into thinking that even though we have roleplay and stuff, that we're actually dating or anything, because that's, you know, gonna lead into a lot of unhealthy thinking. But I know others in Niji-Sanji don't feel the same way, and they're more than in their right to, and some of them encouraged me, you know, not to see it this way. But I can't see you as just fans. I tried really hard to sort of think about the bigger picture, and think about, you know, as we grow, that there will be so many of you that it's impossible to treat you all like family, but I don't think I can do that. I genuinely really don't think that I'm capable of having an experience where there's any distance, sort of manufactured distance, where I don't act like I act like I don't love you, because I really do. I don't know why it's so difficult, because I know that some people who aren't kindred will be watching this, and they'll think, oh, there he goes, he's going back to his old ways, and I don't want that to be the case. I don't want this to become a thing where it seems like I'm taking back what I said, because I'm sticking by the vast majority of it. But when I said those things, I was under so much pressure. And yes, it was my fault, but I was under so much pressure that I said quite a few things that I don't think I meant. I wanted to make the situation go away because I wanted to protect myself, and I wanted to protect you as well. I don't think any fan base wants to be associated with a really negative name, and I wanted to be able to say things that would draw away the criticism and make sure that people saw you as the really wonderful bunch that I know that you are. But I think in doing so, I put such a barrier between us, and I made this whole transaction seem so cold, and I never want it to feel that way. I want what we have, I feel like, has always been a little bit different to what other people have on whether it's streamers or whether it's other celebrities or other entertainers or whatever it is. I feel like the feeling that we have on these streams has always been different, and there has to be a middle ground, right? There has to be. I can't sacrifice how incredible it's felt to feel like I genuinely knew you. I can't get rid of that, because this is so much more than a job to me now. I went into this wanting to have a bigger audience to stream to, and I got that. But what I didn't expect to find was a family that I felt like I could go to when I was upset. I mean, look at me right now. This is the most vulnerable I've been in front of anybody in a long time. And it's you that I chose to do that with, because I feel like I genuinely trust you. And I know, yes, you can point out the obvious. 9,000 people watching. There's no individuality, but when I look at chat and I see I see the, you know, the barrage of hearts in there, that feels real to me. You know? God, I don't know. I'm a mess, and I don't think I'm getting my thoughts out properly. We're terrified of this thing called a parasocial relationship, and I don't think that my opinion on it has changed. I don't want to encourage or what's the word? I guess validate that kind of a connection, because it is unhealthy in a way. But that doesn't in any way mean that the level of intimacy that you and I share needs to change. If you, as a kind and supportive audience, can genuinely look to me as a source of warmth, love, happiness, comfort, then that in itself, well, if someone wants to call that parasocial, then so be it. I don't want that to go away, because that feeling is so fucking important to me. This isn't, like I said, this is not just a job to me anymore. This is just my life. And I feel like you're all a part of it. I said this, I feel like my tears are drying up a little bit now, which is nice. Maybe I just needed to kind of get some of these words out. Now that the anxiety is calming down, I feel a little bit better about it. I said this before, but when I was on my my karaoke after party, I said that I felt as though I owed you my life, and I feel that I do. I really feel that I do. When I think about how powerful and how hardworking the Kindred are specifically, I really, really don't want the interaction and the feeling that we have on these streams to change at all. I really, really, really don't. Because not only, I imagine, was it soothing and comforting and made you feel loved, but it made me feel loved as well, perhaps more than I have in a very, very long time. and I've had conversations with some friends, and I think what I felt was that some people were surprised that I sort of prioritized you all kind of just as much as my real friends, and some people thought that was weird, and I can see why. It sounds weird to say out loud. Obviously, my real life has to be, well, that's the thing, is that this is my real life now. I wake up in the morning to stream, and I go to bed at night so that I will get enough sleep to be awake enough for my next stream. That is my life now, and I've never been happier for that to be my life. I feel like I base everything around this now, and but that's good. That's what I've always wanted, is to have a purpose that's that strong. And not only do I feel like I'm doing that for me, I'm doing it for what, at least to me, feels like someone that I care about, which is you. So I guess what I'm saying is that I really, I know maybe it's not the right thing to say, and maybe some people who aren't Kindred will be watching this and they'll be criticizing me for it, but I know I need to find a middle ground. I need for this place to feel like it's always felt, for you to feel like you could love me without feeling like you were a bad person for doing so, and for me to feel like I can do the same, you know? Because that's good. Because finding something to love is good. And I'll never forget the first time that I properly did tear up on stream was when I saw this, every time in the past that I felt the need to comment on parasocial relationships, or that someone asked me about them, my opinion was always the same. My opinion was always that I didn't mind how you felt as long as you took that feeling and used it to enrich your real life. And I think that the reason people thought I wasn't being genuine is because I never shut down the really bad ones. And I think I've done that now. I think that genuinely, if being a part of this channel is destroying your life and you're becoming so delusional that you're not focusing on aspects of your real life, and that you think that me being a part of it fills certain voids that should otherwise be filled by real people, then that's what I need to shut down, okay? However, I think that maybe I need to go back on something, and maybe I need to change something, okay? If you don't have a lot to make you happy, and if through me you feel a sense of happiness you haven't found in quite a while, then I think that's okay. As long as, like I've always said, as long as you take that as a reason to keep looking for that happiness in the real world, okay? That's what I've always said, and that's what I always wanted to do. And that said, that does not mean that I will ever go back on what I said, about the phenomenon of people believing that we were genuinely in a relationship. We're not. And as much as you may want us to be, we're not. Don't believe that. And second of all, even more importantly, never use that as an excuse to attack somebody online. Do not give the Kindred a bad name, because that was what got us into this fucking mess. Okay? It was you. It began with me, definitely. It began with me not setting firmer boundaries. But I think now that I'm being this vulnerable in front of all of you, and now that I'm sharing my worries, hopefully I can get through to some of you. Hopefully I can get through to enough of you that you can treat one another well enough that the Kindred can have a good name. One that they haven't had outside of this community. That is still a very, very important thing. You need to read my rules. You need to follow what I tell you to do. And if you don't, I do not want your support. That has not changed. But what I want to change is the fact that I've never felt so warmly welcomed by a group of people in my life, other than by all of you. I've never had a birthday where billboards in Akibara and Taipei Metro and King's Cross Station were filled with my face and art that Kindred had made because they loved me, and a hashtag devoted to adopting apes, and an entire game, and a magazine, and all of those different things. There is so much that you've done because of the intimacy that this stream has to it. And I cried myself to sleep last night because I felt like I had just grabbed it and I'd killed it. I kept looking back at the stream I made, and I kept listening to my harsh words, and I knew I needed to be harsh, and I knew I needed to put my foot down. But I was so scared that that was just all gone. You know? That after having cultivated a place that felt so warm and so incredibly welcoming, that it was just gone. And I know it's not gone. I know it's not. But maybe it was a slippery slope. Maybe we were on a slippery slope that was sending us on our path to feeling like a normal streamer. And I never want to be normal. And maybe I'll draw criticism for that. Maybe I will. I don't want this place to feel like an ordinary stream. And I think that we've been as successful as we have because we weren't ordinary. We were very different. We've always been different. It began when I sort of embraced how down bad people were. And I started making fun of it, and then I learned to enjoy it. And then we started having ASMR streams where we had a chance to roleplay, and we had a chance to pretend that maybe you and I knew each other in a different context. And that was fun too. The hardest part of all of this is knowing I need to say something and wanting to share how I feel, but knowing that lots of people are listening. And if you're not Kindred, and if you don't have faith that I can make this work, please, at least for a little bit, try to have some faith that I can do this. Because I think that anyone who's been a member of this community can attest to the fact that it feels different in a really, really nice way. And I never want to let that go. Do you understand? I never want to be... I want to be criticized into making my streams better, and I want to be criticized into keeping my less than great fans under control. Absolutely, I need to do that, and I want to do that. But I never want us to be criticized into sacrificing our identity. Because our identity is what makes us so strong. Our identity is what makes this place feel different, and it's why you might want to follow me instead of someone else. I was going to say something else. Well, can't believe I've almost been streaming for half an hour and we haven't even started The Sims. What I want to say to all of you is that I am not sorry for setting my boundaries, and I'm not sorry for being harsh with the members of our community who were causing a litany of problems. That needed to happen, and I was scared of doing it because I wasn't sure how it would be received. But now that I have, I am thinking carefully about it. And to those of you who found happiness here, to those of you who found warmth, a place to belong, a community to be a part of, and who felt like when I commented on those things that I shut that feeling down and I made you sad, I'm really sorry. I failed you. My job that I auditioned for and that I was hired for was to make you smile, and I failed. I'm very sorry that I misunderstood what it was that made these streams so special, and that I didn't think carefully about what I was going to say, and that I caved under pressure to be harsh and mean when all I've ever wanted to do is to put you in a better position to succeed and put you in a happier place. If I need to criticize, if I need to be stern with you in order to get you to behave, then I will. And none of those rules are changing. But I am sorry for doing it in such a way that made you feel so sad. I really hope that in the coming days and weeks or whatever it is, when I keep streaming, and the hardest part is I really didn't want to, because we have one more stream tomorrow and then I'm going on my trip. I didn't want to end my week on a down note, you know, on a stream like yesterday where I just sort of feel really miserable the whole time. I needed to say these things. Not just what I said earlier in the week about my boundaries, but also this. And to an extent, I think that this is more important. Because before, that was a statement made that was supposed to defend myself from criticism, to apologize for having done some things wrong, and also to control and get rid of any members of this community that were causing problems and that were being toxic. That was necessary. But this, to me, this moment right now is more important, at least at the moment. Because the ones, as a streamer and as the lord of your clan, you should be my priority, not anybody else. Not any hate I might read somewhere else, not someone who, because I'm very susceptible to hate. I try not to be in a place where I can see it, but when I do see it, I get really sad, and I try my best to, I take it on way too seriously, and I need to not do that, because it's what you say that I should take seriously. You're the ones who turn up for these streams every day. You're the ones who make it worth waking up in the morning. And I mean it when I say that my day is going to sleep on time so that I can wake up for stream, and then waking up so that I can stream, and I have never been happier. So I won't let this go on too much longer. I wanna get to being a silly funny man and playing The Sims, and but yes, I really needed to get that off my chest, because I have been so upset thinking about how sad I was that I felt like I'd failed you. It's really nice to, I guess, after seeing so much hate, that I get to see, I don't know, lots of nice hearts and things. It's really sweet, and I'm glad that I have an audience, because the Kindred are the ones I want to address at the moment, and I'm glad that it's you all who are here listening, so thank you. So, in conclusion, this experience will stay the way that it has always been. While we're not in a relationship, and I don't know you specifically personally, you are a small part of what comprises the Kindred. And the Kindred as a whole, I love with all of my heart. I'm not sure how deep I should get. I'm not sure how much more I should say, and I'm worried that I've already said too much. I will leave it at what I said before, that I feel as though I owe you my life. I do. Okay? I have been in some pretty terrible places in the years leading up to having this. And it's... while I obviously owe it to Niji-sanji itself, I feel that more so I owe it to you. So as long as you recognize that you're a member of this strange Lovecraftian beast called the Kindred, then yes, I can say with confidence that I do love you very, very much. And as long as as long as you respect my rules, you respect my friends, you remember that we're not in any kind of serious romantic relationship, and you attack nobody, you give me a good name in public out of your good deeds and your kindness and your warmth that I know you for, then I don't mind if you feel a little attached. Just make sure that you use me to enrich your life, rather than take it over. Because if I learned that I was your only source of happiness, I would be really fucking upset. I would be really upset. Because you deserve more than that. You deserve so much more than that. But being a regular source of warmth and comfort for someone to the point where you do feel like I'm a friend of yours, or your dad, or someone you've got a crush on, you're welcome to have a crush on me. You really are welcome to. As long as you understand that happiness in the real world is so much more important. And that if you go down the road of fooling yourself into thinking that you and I personally have something, and then using that as a method to attack someone, then I will be very disappointed, and I won't consider you a kindred anymore. So that is the middle ground that I'm trying to ride. I think it's the only way that I can stream like this with confidence, and it's the only way that I can stream like this and be happy. Because I'm going to be completely honest, whether it draws me criticism or not, without that level of intimacy, I don't think I would stream as much as I do. I think I would feel pretty miserable doing it. Do you understand? I would feel pretty miserable. Because this experience, like I've said like 2 or 3 times, it doesn't feel like a job anymore. It just feels like life. You know? It's moments like this, I think, that remind me more than anything of the Present Memories fan game. And how so much of that was about the relationship that I have with the Kindred. So much of that was about, in that game, I'm the lord of a clan, of course. But I don't just sit in my tower, sending out the odd message or command. I go out into the village, and I interact with you, and I make you feel special, and I flirt with you, and I give you little kisses sometimes, and I make you feel special, and I help you with things that you might be struggling with, and I do this and I do that, and that is the best way that I can think to describe the kind of experience that I want this stream to be. I know I said it last time, but I don't want to be just an entertainer. And maybe people will criticize me for that, and that's fine. They're welcome to do so. But I now realize how much more important you are to me than appeasing people who want to control the kind of content that I make. Do you understand? That's actually pretty poignant. That's a pretty poignant thing to say, person in chat. I'll remember that. I didn't catch your name, but I'll remember it. We might not be in a relationship, and we might not strictly be family, but what you and I are is kindred. We are a pair of kindred spirits, and I will always treat you that way. So continue to be sus, continue to send me gross pickup lines, continue to treat me as a source of happiness, warmth, and comfort, because that's what I want to be for you. I know I'm an internet funny man, but maybe I can be a little bit more than that for you. A little bit. As long as you're sensible, and as long as you don't make me regret saying that. Okay? God, the past few days I've had, like, you know, when you really want to cry, but you have that sort of like that pulsing feeling behind your eyes, you know, you're not crying at the moment, but you feel like the instant something provokes you, you're just gonna like absolutely start, you're just gonna die. I've had that for a few days, and I'm really glad to finally have sobbed a little bit and gotten it out. So this, let me try and appease the side of me that wants to be cautious real quick. This that I'm describing is a cautious middle ground, which should, I hope, allow us to venture into the wider world and to grow to, need I remind you, maybe in less than 2 months to 1 million subscribers, while maintaining the feeling that we are a clan. That's what I want. I want to maintain the feeling that we've always been intimate and personal and happy as a pair of people. Okay? And I want to maintain that no matter how large we grow. I don't want to let success distract from how incredible that feeling has been. You understand? Oh yes, and we already have 1 million on Bilibili. That's correct, that's correct. I don't want to let that feeling change at all. And so, for the time being, that's what this is going to be, okay? That's what this is going to be. But I say that to you with a really, really desperate request. A really, really honest request. I am actually begging you. Please don't abuse the trust that I put in you. Please don't take this as an excuse to try and... Please don't take this as an excuse to fall back into bad habits. Don't take this as an excuse to do something that got us into this mess. Okay? Please treat this as a means to be better and to remember that I will be upset with you if you do something wrong again. Okay? And maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm immensely naive. Maybe I'm incredibly naive for thinking that I can talk to this many people and have them all follow what I tell them to do. But God damn it, I can certainly try. If it hits a point where trying to ride this middle ground results in more problems emerging, then I may just have to put my foot down and go back to things. Hold on. Are we back? I think that was Susan. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was Susan. God, what an inopportune fucking moment for that to happen. Jesus Christ. What a terrible moment for that to happen. Oh boy. Okay, well. That's the last thing that I need to say, is that I'm doing this because I want you to have the same happy experience that you had before all of this controversy emerged, but I also need to do so with the condition that you absolutely need to let me trust you not to cause problems again, okay? You need to please, 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 please take what I said seriously, abide by my rules, and not cause any problems. Because if you do, and I fall under criticism again, then this might have to change for good. And I don't want that. And I don't think you do either. Okay? Yeah, sorry about the disconnect. I think that was just Susan. My internet's fine. I think that was just Susan being weird. Yeah, you'll have the VOD. You'll have the VOD. And I trust that clippers will be able to take the breadth of what I'm saying and put it in and put it out there so more people can see it. When it comes to taking a rest, yes, actually, I am going on a break for a week after tomorrow's stream. And so tomorrow is going to be another ASMR, and I hope that when I do it, we can recapture that old feeling with none of the rando controversy associated. Hopefully, I'm praying. Okay, that's off my chest now. Maybe I'll draw more criticism for it, but I think that that's what I needed to say. Riding this middle ground is what I need to do for you, and you're the ones who matter to me. Okay, you're my fans, and I love you very, very much. So that's what I'm doing for you. Please don't let that be a mistake on my part. Please let me trust you.